Has the global music world just witnessed an acknowledgement powerful enough to change the way millions of people view Jungkook forever? And if that is true, why did just a few sentences from a renowned South Korean cultural columnist suddenly cause social media to explode, spark endless debates among armies around the world, and give rise to a question that almost seems impossible to say out loud? Is Jungkook now being regarded as the heir to Michael Jackson's legacy? That question has echoed continuously over the past few days across music fan communities, pop culture forums, and international social media platforms. For some people, the statement sounds like extraordinary praise that reflects just how significant Jungkook's influence has become on the global stage today. For others, placing the name of a K-pop idol alongside Michael Jackson, a figure who has been known for decades as the king of pop, is considered a claim that is simply too large and potentially controversial. The debate intensified after cultural columnist Yoon-jeong from Jungkook Ilbo published a column discussing Michael Jackson's cultural legacy in the modern era. In an article titled, "Michael, You Are Still Here," Lee not only reflected on the legendary artist's immense impact on the global entertainment industry, but also introduced an idea that immediately captured public attention. According to Lee, one of the figures who most clearly represents the continuation of the pop cultural DNA inherited from Michael Jackson is Jungkook of BTS. The statement quickly spread across digital platforms. Within hours, excerpts from the column were being shared by fans around the world. The reactions were remarkably diverse. Some felt proud that Jungkook had received recognition from a respected cultural observer. Others were surprised because the comparison involved one of the most influential names in the history of modern music. What drew even greater public attention was the reasoning provided by Yoon-jeong. He did not merely describe Jungkook as a talented singer or a popular star. He specifically pointed to Jungkook's solo performance of Standing Next to You as an example of how Michael Jackson's artistic legacy continues to live on through a new generation. In his column, Lee highlighted Jungkook's impressive footwork, commanding stage presence, intense movements, and his ability to manipulate the contrast between silence and explosive energy during performances. According to Lee, these qualities go beyond a simple tribute to Michael Jackson. He described them as a declaration of inheritance, an artistic statement that reveals the cultural lineage upon which that music stands. That phrase immediately became the focal point of public discussion. Many fans regarded the term "declaration of inheritance" as the most surprising part of the entire article. The reason is that the phrase implies not merely inspiration, but continuity. In other words, Lee sees a deeper connection between Michael Jackson's artistic legacy and what Jungkook currently presents on stage. For BTS fans, the statement feels particularly emotional because Jungkook's journey toward becoming a global superstar did not happen overnight. Over many years, the public has witnessed his growth from a young trainee into one of the most recognized performers in the world. Every era of his career has demonstrated stronger vocal abilities, greater confidence, and increasingly refined artistic maturity. What is particularly interesting, however, is that Yoon-jeong was not speaking only about Jungkook as an individual. He also addressed a much larger phenomenon: the evolution of K-pop into one of the most influential forms of popular culture in the world. According to Lee, many elements that are now considered standard within the modern entertainment industry can actually be traced back to innovations introduced by Michael Jackson decades ago. From music videos built with cinematic and narrative approaches, to choreography that carries equal importance to vocal performance, to the concept of a performer who must combine singing, dancing, charisma, and storytelling into one complete package. All of these elements form part of the legacy left behind by the King of Pop. In Lee's view, K-pop has evolved into one of the most successful manifestations of that cultural DNA. He even described K-pop as the most beautiful flower growing from the seeds of innovation that Michael Jackson once planted in the global music industry. This is where Jungkook emerges as the symbol that most strongly represents that continuity. When Standing Next to You was released, many music observers immediately noticed the song's strong performative qualities. It was not only about the musicality itself, but also about the way the song came alive on stage. Many viewers felt that they were not simply watching a singer perform a track, they were witnessing an entertainer who understood how to command an audience's attention from beginning to end. Comparisons to Michael Jackson are not entirely new. Since several of Jungkook's performances began going viral, fans and pop culture commentators have repeatedly pointed out certain similarities in their performance approaches. Usually, however, those comparisons originated within fan communities or social media discussions. This time, the situation is different because the statement came from a cultural columnist examining the issue within the broader context of pop culture history. That factor is precisely what allowed the discussion to expand far beyond the boundaries of fandom. Across various digital platforms, thousands of comments began to appear. Many fans expressed pride in seeing Jungkook receive such recognition. They viewed it as evidence that Jungkook's influence is now acknowledged not only by fans, but also by cultural observers. At the same time, discussions emerged regarding the true meaning of the word heir. Does it refer to an heir to a style of dancing? An heir to an artistic spirit? Or an heir to pop cultural influence as a whole? Those questions made the topic even more compelling. Many people realized that Michael Jackson's legacy cannot be measured solely through sales figures or the number of awards he received. His legacy also encompasses the way the world perceives the modern performer. And it is within that context that Yoon-jeong appears to see Jungkook as a figure who has successfully translated that legacy for a new generation. The controversy that followed is therefore not simply about who is greater or who deserves a particular title. Rather, it reflects the enormous place Michael Jackson occupies within the global cultural imagination, as well as the extraordinary speed with which Jungkook's influence has expanded over the past several years. When a name begins to be mentioned in the same sentence as Michael Jackson, global attention is almost guaranteed to follow. And that is exactly what is happening now. What began as a single cultural column has evolved into an international debate about legacy, influence, performance art, and the future of global pop culture. One thing that many people seem to agree upon is that this discussion demonstrates the magnitude of Jungkook's impact today. Regardless of whether someone agrees with the phrase Michael Jackson's heir, the fact that such a comparison was made by a respected cultural commentator is already an indicator that Jungkook's position within the global entertainment landscape can no longer be viewed as a temporary phenomenon. And perhaps that is why ARMY's reaction has been so emotional. For them, this is not merely about receiving praise. It is an acknowledgement of the long journey of an artist they have watched grow for years, until his name is now being discussed within the context of global pop culture history itself, a context far larger than any one individual. In the academic world of popular culture, inheritance does not always mean imitation. In fact, a legacy is often seen when an artist is able to take the foundation built by their predecessor and develop it into something that remains relevant to their own generation. It is from this perspective that many observers have begun to understand why Yoon-jeong chose Jungkook as his primary example. What is interesting is that when excerpts from the column began circulating widely through various fan accounts, including daily JK praise on the X platform, the responses did not come solely from ARMY. Many social media users who had not previously followed BTS's activities also became involved in the discussion. Some admitted they were curious as to why a cultural columnist would use a term as strong as declaration of inheritance to describe Jungkook's performance. On the other hand, there were also voices reminding people that Michael Jackson is a figure who is almost without equal in the history of the music industry. For decades, his name has been a symbol of innovation, cultural revolution, and global influence that extends far beyond the boundaries of music itself. That is precisely why any comparison to Michael Jackson almost always triggers strong emotional reactions. Yet, that is exactly what makes this controversy so fascinating. Yoon-jeong never stated that Jungkook is the next Michael Jackson. He was speaking about the continuation of the pop culture legacy left behind by the legendary artist. That small difference in wording subsequently became the center of a discussion that continues to grow across the world.